it's a community that is just so tight. You know, the military in part is a family, but there are specific units, as we know, that are very close, and that's how the Seabees are. And we always had the reputation of, you know, the can-do, or our other nom de guerre that we go by, or our slogan is, you know, the difficult we do immediately, the impossible takes us a bit longer.
A simple meal, a steady shoulder. Honor isn't just a word, it's what we do in their name.
Welcome to Voices of Valor, another episode where we share patriotic Americans and organizations doing some phenomenal things to really help the military community at large. And today I have a special guest, Mr. Russ Dutcher, who we go back many years. And
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yes, we do.
And we're going to talk about some great stuff, specifically, you know, history and what you're doing to help veterans find their history and genealogy.
Right.
But and I see you got some goodies to share as well.
Yes, I did, and I brought one from our days at the 514th
Fantastic.
AMW. Yes,
I know that well.
20 years, Mike. 20 years. Yeah.
So before we get into all this,
Mhm.
tell me a little bit about Russ, so that our audience knows a little bit about your background and what you've done in your career.
Well, my military career was Navy and Air Force. Was a CB, then Ordnance.
Okay.
Ordnance battalions. Did recruiting stint, and then went over to the Blue. And
did?
Yes, went over
You
to the Blue
became
at the
an airman.
514th.
You came
That's
from
where I met you.
a sailor to an airman.
There we go. There we go. And the wing historian, and worked with the intel part as well. But great over there at the wing. Met a lot of great people. Yourself.
So one of the things I remember as the command chief there was when you started the program as a wing historian,
Yes.
which we had about 2,600 people. You started this program with a coin.
Yes, I did. The challenge
The
coin.
challenge
The historian's challenge coin.
So talk a little bit about that.
If you remember, we would have our briefings twice a month. And so I got the idea, as I was always thinking, why don't I have questions, pose questions to people?
Yep.
And if they answer correctly, I give them a historian's challenge coin. So I had these made up, and if you remember in the briefing, we'd ask the question, and we had everybody, a lot of officers with those hands up, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
And it was very memorable because no other historian did that.
Right.
You know, and so
Right.
you started, you paved a new path, you know, to help the wing really, you know, share the history of the wing and all
Right.
the great things. And that's what you have here. You know, some of the things. You want to share some of these now?
Well, I did bring something, a blast from the past,
Yeah.
as we
What do you
say.
have?
If you remember the historians, and if you remember the historians plaque that we had at my office, 514th.
Yeah, KC-10,
Yes,
C-17.
which is no longer in service.
Yeah.
Correct.
This was on your door.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And if you remember, my door was always open to everyone.
It was.
Yeah.
It was always open. And, you know, you really blazed the trail. I hope the office today is still continuing.
Well, one thing I did find out, because I was offered a tour down there that I can go down anytime I'd like. The office of historian no longer exists
It's gone.
at the 514th.
Yeah, it's
yes,
no-
the
no
billet
longer.
is no longer there.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they downsized the wing as well.
And I think that's what it was.
Yeah, they probably lost the opportunity to have that, which is sad because that's this preserve the history of a unit is and to lose that, not to have that, is disappointing to hear. But you know, I understand as well. You know, they're down to about 1,500 people now. When we were there, it was over 2,500.
Yes. We were one of the most substantial wings out there, and active as well.
Very, very active. What else you have?
Now, I'd like to discuss today, we have something, and I'm going to show you right here. I'm branding today. This is the medal for the Sons of the American Revolution. And the chapter, state, and national presidents can wear the neck ribbon. The SAR is like the DAR.
Okay.
You have to trace your lineage back to an ancestor from the revolution.
Yeah.
So the SAR has a program called Operation Ancestor Search. And this program provides free licenses to Ancestry.com to disabled qualified disabled veterans and wounded warriors.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Free.
100% free.
100% free. All we do is we get with either DAV, VFW, whatever chapters, veterans chapters. We work with the VA. We find out what veterans would like to become involved. And we get the names, we verify, and then the licensors are sent from our national chairman in Texas.
That's amazing. So it's a national program.
It's a national program for the Sons of the American Revolution. And the great thing about this is it was stood up in 2011. It was moving forward. And then what happened in 2020? COVID. And we're still recovering from that. So we had the idea at one of our state meetings this year to stand it up again. So I took on the responsibility as chairman because I am a genealogist.
Yep.
And we had our first 8 veterans, a meeting on Saturday in Brick, New Jersey, not far from here.
Yep.
And it was a phenomenal success.
That's great. That's
Yes.
great. So now these 8 people, that's the first cohort of
Yes.
using this program.
Correct. And we'll be standing this up. I have a couple of meetings this week, one in Woodbridge and one in Toms River at the DAVs. But it's not just for DAVs. It's for any veterans. And actually today, I'll be going over to Toms River Clinic to speak to the administration there about this.
So if somebody's doing research on their family and they're a veteran and disabled
Yes.
or wounded warrior,
Yes.
they can have access for how long can they get access for?
It's a year-long access from when the key or the license is generated.
Okay,
So
so
if it's generated 2 days before and we get it to the veteran, that's the timeline.
Okay.
But it's good for a year.
Yeah.
But 10 months prior, if the veteran is still involved and still wants to conduct research, Ancestry will just let us know and we'll renew it
and
for
just
the
keep
veteran.
going. So besides this show helping to market it, what other ways of getting the word out on it?
Well, we're going out to our American Legions now, our VFWs, Wounded Warriors, Vietnam veterans, shows like yourself to get it out. We're going to try and get it out on Facebook as well, our social medias. Yes.
That's fantastic. I see this is tremendous because having this tool to research your family history, and a lot of people don't know. Maybe they thought it's expensive. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
To go through Ancestry.com.
Right.
But to have it free and be able to have training on it as well.
Yes.
Is really amazing.
And that's a large part of it. That I am a certified genealogist, and so I'm an SAR member, but I'm a disabled American veteran as well. So this program allows our chapter members, SAR, to give one-on-one instruction, and we hold constant classes. So we're not just giving you the license and pushing you off. This is a constant integration.
So it's like continuing education in a way.
Absolutely.
So how often are you going to meet with these 8 folks so far?
We're scheduled.
You just met last week,
Yes, Saturday.
and it'll be next month.
We're scheduling. We'd like to schedule 2 a month, and I've given out my contact as the state chairman that if anyone needs to reach out to me, they can.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, Saturday when I did return home from dinner, I saw 6 emails right from them. So that night I went on and I helped them conduct some research, and
Amazing.
so they have me, they have other members of the SAR,
Yeah.
and they have veterans support groups out
So
there.
what's the feeling for you when someone's able to find their family that goes back to World War I or before that? What kind of feeling is that to know that you're helping them?
For me, because I used to teach at Brookdale, non-credit courses at Ocean County College, family history. And I didn't do it for the money, and it wasn't that much. The greatest reward to me was when my folks were there and the smiles, and I found them. That was the greatest reward because I know that I've given back and I've helped these people find their family, just as people helped me and trained me years ago.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling because when we both served together, watching somebody go on the stage and receiving a medal or
Right.
a certificate of appreciation by the commander is always that good feeling from being in the audience and know you help get that person positioned for that. They did all the work,
Right.
but somebody had to recommend them, you know, or
Correct.
somebody had to help him, and that's what you're doing now, which is fantastic. So congratulations on all this.
Thank you.
This is amazing. You have some other items here. Do you want to
I
share?
did bring from, like we said, since this is the SAR, the American Sons of the American Revolution, I did bring a few interesting tidbits.
Mhm.
This gentleman right here is Colonel John Taylor. And he was a very interesting fellow. He was a tutor at Queens College, which is now Rutgers. He was a scholar, a graduate of Princeton. He received his master's there. He was a soldier during the Revolution, quite active, and knew George Washington. And he was a spy.
Oh,
He headed up he was one of the heads of the New Jersey spy network in Elizabethtown and around this area.
so he was a spy helping us, or
A
helping?
spy helping the Patriot cause.
Fantastic.
Yes, we know
Wow.
that from the correspondence between himself and Washington.
Mhm.
And he was mainly located in the central and northern sections of the state. Yes.
That's amazing to know that this is all being uncovered. You
Yeah.
know, about his background as
And
well.
the really neat thing is he's my 4 times great grandfather as well.
He is
Yes,
as well.
he is.
So that's you got a lineage back to the
Yes.
Colonel John Taylor.
Yes, yes. Grandpop Taylor, yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Or JT as I
and
call
it's
him.
kind of funny because you being a adjunct professor and so forth, and teaching in your career, and now him teaching. So there's a lineage on that as well.
Yeah, and I'm in process of my doctoral as well. So
That's right.
I didn't know it, but I'm following the same path that he did.
I remember many years ago when we were serving together, you were going for your bachelor's degree.
Yes.
And you told me straight up, you said, this is just the beginning. I'm going to get a doctorate. And here we are.
Yeah,
It's
Liberty University,
A couple
right.
years later, you're in the middle of your doctorate. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And the new book will be coming out too.
And a book, too.
Yes, that'll be coming out sometime this year on the governors, biographical sketches of the governors. Oh, I'm sorry, of the treasurers of the state of New Jersey.
Wow.
That's the other book. But the treasurers, 1704 to 2026.
All the treasurers that
Yes.
had tenure.
Yes,
Oh,
with a
that's
history
amazing.
of the Department of the Treasury,
Yeah.
which is pretty much the second oldest position here in the state.
Okay.
Because there was the governor, but there was the assembly and then the treasurer. Those were the 2 most important next to the governor in colonial times.
Okay. Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. What else you have here?
This is something we received from the
Proclamation?
state for John Taylor for
Oh.
his service from
Oh,
the
so-
state of New Jersey.
Wow. So it's a historical record.
Yeah, a proclamation, a joint Senate and Assembly from the state of New Jersey. Yep, signed by the Speaker
Yep. That's fantastic.
and the President of the Senate. Yes, honoring his service, which we thought was pretty neat.
That's amazing. And this is your, so is it considered your cousin?
This is my 4 times great grandfather.
Great grandfather.
Great grandfather.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
And it's funny, my sister on a profile of her, she looks, that profile, you can see it.
you can see a resemblance.
Oh, yes. My oldest sister, yes. Yes.
And again, all this came from researching genealogy, going back.
Yes.
And did you use this program back then?
No, I didn't. We didn't have this program here in New Jersey at that time. I found out about JT a few years ago and have started additional research. And now there's a book that will be coming out on John Taylor and the Intelligence Network. That'll probably be in 27.
That's amazing stuff. I know on LinkedIn, I see you post a lot as well.
Yes,
Some
I do.
Historical facts.
Yes.
And it seems like almost every day in some form you're giving out some historical tidbits
Yes.
that are out there. Anything for today in history come to mind? But I don't want to put you on the spot, but today's the 12th of May.
Today is the 12th of May. I can tell you, and it relates to John Taylor, at this point, and of course this is after the Battle of Trenton and Princeton. This is now into 1777 in May. He was stationed with, and he was commanding the Middlesex Militia and the New Jersey Militia at Cranberry.
Okay.
And we have to look, like I said, at times counties changed at that time,
Yeah.
but Cranberry was in proximity to New Brunswick,
Correct.
Trenton, and Princeton,
That's right.
within the central part of the state.
Yeah.
So that's where they had their intelligence hub. So we have correspondence between General Putnam to Washington mentioning him commanding the militia and running the intelligence network with a Colonel John Nelson as well. out of Cranberry.
It's all right here. History all over in central Jersey where we're at is amazing.
It's amazing.
Whether it's Princeton, Battle of Monmouth, I mean, all these locations are just incredible.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the Battle of Monmouth. Yes, that was an important, juncture in our history.
Yeah.
Some people push it to the side that because it was basically a standoff, but it was important to the American Army because they came out of Valley Forge as not a rabble any longer. They were an army, and they stood that day
That's
against
amazing.
the best.
I mean, we were just talking, reminiscing a little bit about Molly Pitcher.
Yes.
And I didn't know this until recently that she wasn't in the war. She was supporting her husband
Yes, she
until
was.
he died and delivering water to him, pitchers of water. And
Yes.
then she took over one of the turrets, I think.
One of the guns.
One of the guns.
She served one of the
Yeah.
guns during the battle.
It's unreal.
And Joseph Plum Martin, in his diary, which is a famous diary, he mentions her at the gun, serving the gun. Yes.
Unbelievable. It's Molly Pitcher. So I'm assuming the Pitcher wasn't her last name.
It was Mary Ludwig Hayes,
Okay.
but they called ladies that did this Molly Pitchers. Yes.
Amazing.
But really neat stuff.
History is all around us. What else is, you have another one
And
here.
this is just something that, I guess for vanity's sake, that appeared in the 90s. I tried
Who
to...
is that?
Yeah, who is that young guy? But I tried to push for legislation to give validation to genealogists and historians and researchers in the state. And it kind of fell through, and this was back in, 96. So now we're 2026. Now I'm retired from the state, going full force historically.
Yep.
So we're going to try again.
So you've done a lot of things in your career, and we talked a little bit about your Navy and your Air Force career, but digging in a little bit into that, as we'll consider this historic as well. You were a Seabee.
Yes.
You were a Navy Seabee.
Yes.
What is it like being a Seabee?
It's a community that is just so tight. The military in part is a family, but there are specific units, as we know, that are very close,
Yep.
and that's how the Seabees are. And we always had the reputation of the can-do, or our other nom de guerre that we go by, or our slogan is, the difficult we do immediately, the impossible takes us a bit longer.
I like that.
And I love the fact that in the Air Force with the wing, the 305th is the can-do wing.
The can-do wing. That's right.
Yes.
The 305th.
The
I remember
can-dos,
General
yes.
Martin, when General Rick Martin was there, his enthusiasm, and he would come out with this is the can-do wing, and we could make anything happen.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's great. As a Seabee, what were some of the things you built?
Well, I was an SK.
Okay.
So I was a storekeeper and then became an AK, an aviation storekeeper. So we were responsible for making sure that the battalion, when it was deployed, everything that was there needed was there. Construction packs for the Able Company, Bravo Company, for the mechanics, for the builders. So we had deployment packs, and everything was there. Every type of tool that you could possibly imagine for deployment overseas. And then we worked to make sure that the motor pool had their proper parts.
Okay.
And that the Marines, when they were ordering, because we had Marine advisors there, for ammunition for our gunners' mates. So that was our job. And then I moved over to Ordnance.
So now you're into weapons.
Yes, Atlantic Ordnance Command, which was more our heavy ordnance, like our, missiles,
Yep.
and our big boys.
Yep.
So that was over at Earl.
Yeah. So was that a cross train then? Did you have to
No,
do
actually,
training for that?
we a bunch of us went over and we were retrained by the Army,
Okay.
by the Ordnance Command with the Army, and we were over at AOC, was attached Atlantic Ordnance Command at Earl.
Okay.
Naval Weapons headquarters was in Norfolk.
Okay.
Right.
So Earl is known as a weapons depot.
Yeah.
And so it's a
Absolutely.
perfect fit to that career path.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I did my stint in recruiting and a command career counselor.
Yeah.
So I helped my,
And
sailors.
in the recruiting business back then, how was it recruiting then? Because we didn't have all the technology we have today, the social media and all that. Back then, we didn't have that. So how did you recruit back then?
Well, we were attached. We were reserve command, and then we did some active duty time. So we were attached to different recruiting stations.
Okay.
So we would work directly with the delayed entry program, folks.
That's what I came in there. Yeah.
Exactly. So delayed entry. So the youngsters, we would take them, put them through their paces before they were going to boot.
So from recruiter, then you switch over to Air Force,
Yes.
and get involved with being a historian as well.
And what's funny? Before the historian, I was supposed to go to EOD.
In the Air Force.
Yeah, explosive ordnance. But they told me that to go over, in order to go to the school, coming from another service, you would have to drop a stripe.
Correct.
And then pick it up. You could pick it up a year or two later. So coming over when you're a little bit older, do you really want to do that? And then they said, well, we have an opportunity for a historian. And we know you have a historical background. And so that kind of segued in perfect as well.
I know you, as our historian for the wing at the 514th, you used to write up a lot of historical packages.
Mm-hmm.
I think weren't you a historian of the year or something like that at one time?
Well, what we did is we put together a program. If you remember all the history panels that were throughout the wing,
Yep.
and we won. Actually, they gave it to me, but as I tell people, I couldn't have done it without the support of everybody at the wing. So that award that I received was the Wings Award, even though my name was on it.
Yeah.
But if you remember the outstanding,
Outstanding Unit Award
that we received,
correct,
and we hadn't received that in years. And if you remember how that happened, there were less than 24 hours left on a Saturday. I came in, no one acted on it. I called up and got someone down at Maxwell, and the masters down there said, get it to me by 1600. So if you remember, Colonel Callahan was a bit miffed. He came in from his house and he said, why am I here? And when they said about signing this, he said, no problem. And we sent it down. If you remember, like 3 months later, we received the unit award.
I remember that. It was a big certificate.
But that's how it went down. It almost didn't happen.
Hours.
It almost didn't happen.
It's that CB mentality to make it happen.
Well, the master sergeant said, I'm going to give you an extension. Get this to me by 1600.
Wow.
So, like I said, Colonel Callahan came in. I remember he was in the civvies because you remember he had a construction company on the outside.
Correct.
And he was a little miffed, but then when he found out what it was, he had no problem signing that, sent that down.
That's great.
And the rest is history.
Unbelievable. So Air Force time, and then now being retired from the state employee.
Yeah.
But now you're very active in DAV.
Yes, very active in DAV. I was the employment chairman for veterans employment for the state for a few years. Mm-hmm. Did that, but I'm still involved with the DAV, and now through this program with the DAV. But
you keep busy. Yeah,
I'm key. I'm probably busier now with the writing and the research and these programs, absolutely, than I was when I was working for the state.
So if you look back on everything about the historical side of the house and what you're doing with Operation Ancestry Research, what tips would you recommend to somebody who's interested in this kind of career?
Well, I would tell folks. Well, when I taught the classes, never believe what you see on there that someone posts family heritage unless there are documents attached that you can verify. Without verifiable primary source documents, probably the information that's there is incorrect, because many times people will take same name documents and attach them without conducting the research. So, excuse me, be very wary of that. And again, phonetics. Mm-hmm. We write as we hear. We speak as we hear. You have to remember language barriers. Look at different variations of the name as well. And my last thing is, if you're conducting research in a geographic area, and I'll just use New Jersey, and let's go back to, say, colonial times. You got to remember, we have 21 counties now. We didn't have 21 counties then. Okay, as counties were building up, we had maybe 10, 11 counties. So look in other geographic areas, because where the town is now may not have been where it was back in 1780, 1760.
Different times.
Exactly.
So, Russ, it's been a real pleasure to get to know you again and learn more about all the great things that you're doing, not just for the DAV, but also for veterans at large. to have this kind of Operation Ancestor Search program, allowing people to find their heritage is truly amazing. And of course, it's free if they sign up to work with you on this. And where can they learn more about this?
Actually, they can go on the Sons of the American Revolution site, the national site, NSSAR, National Society Sons of the American Revolution. They can also put in there OAS, or Operation Ancestor Search.
Okay, and that's how they can find it.
And they can do it in Google or whatever platform you're using. It will come up and it will give you an overview of the program.
Fantastic. Russ, I want to thank you again.
Mike, thank you very much.
Show.
Great seeing you.
It's great to see you again. We served a long time together.
Yes, we have.
I feel like we're back together again. So
That's
this
right.
is wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for watching our show. It's been really interesting to learn about Operation Ancestor Search and all the great things that you can find about your family and the history. And we look forward to learning more about this ourselves. And thank you again. We look forward to the next episode.
Serving those who served us with our hands, our hearts, our name. A simple meal, a steady shoulder. Honor isn't just a word, it's what